So Resident Evil 4 is one of Capcom's flagship horror titles, and after the huge success from Resident Evil 4, I think it's super safe to say that Resident Evil 5 will be next. And why do I say it's RE5? It's pretty simple. When Resident Evil 2 was announced, everyone was hyped. When Resident Evil 4 was announced, granted, a lot of people said it did not need a remake, but people were still happy it was around, it was coming. Well, why not Code Veronica? Although I'm one of those few people that, yes, I do want a Code Veronica remake. I am not gonna lie, I honestly do think Code Veronica needs a remake. In terms of Resident Evil 5, that, you know, I think we all want a remake, but we don't necessarily all agree, or at least I'm sure, and if I'm wrong, then I must be living in a bubble. But I'm pretty sure everyone knows that Resident Evil 5 does not need a remake. We initially just want it. Now, I'm going to talk about why is it a good thing and why is it a bad thing. I think it's a good thing to remake RE5 because of its current reputation. Alright, so let's go a little back. So after when Resident Evil 4 came out, this is essentially the dark days of Capcom. Alright, granted, I do like Resident Evil 5. 6 is questionable if you're playing with a friend or not, but I did enjoy those games. But initially, those days were the dark days of Capcom. Survival horror was like a thing of the past, and we have this new thing called action horror in our Resident Evil titles, something that's new to the franchise we're not accustomed to. You know, we were used to like a whole bunch of jump scares, or not even a whole bunch of jump scares. It was pretty I wouldn't say it was scary, but the horror was still there. The atmosphere is what I'm trying to say. The atmosphere was there, versus Resident Evil 5, where the atmosphere was completely gone. Everything was super actiony, which again, I don't find that necessarily a bad thing unless you do it correctly. If you're doing it right, then I'm okay with it. So one of the good things about a remake to RE5 is that they can rewrite this, they can start it over, they can revive the reputation it currently has, because a lot of people say this was the downfall of Resident Evil. They can initially just make a new one and just make it pure horror, or if not, just make it another Resident Evil 4 where it's combining horror with, you know, survival horror elements, kind of like what Resident Evil 4 Remake did. So it'll have another opportunity to be a different game than what it was before. Granted, a lot of people did enjoy the original RE5, but it had a lot of controversy over it. So I'm pretty sure Capcom right now is initially thinking what they're gonna do with RE5, if they're gonna make it or not. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm like 90% sure they're gonna do it eventually, but I think they're discussing of the house, because this is super controversial, not only for the gameplay style, but the setting of the game where it took place. I don't necessarily want to bring that up to this channel because it's something I do not want to like discuss about in my channel. I hope you guys understand, but if you look up the setting controversy for Resident Evil 5, you're gonna look up a lot of stuff. But you know, whether the remake will have a setting change or, you know, things a bit more sensitive, I'm completely fine with that, whatever it may be, whatever they want to do with that. But I'm pretty sure that is heavily talked about, and I feel like they're hesitating because of this. So this might be the most controversial remake they've ever put out, more than any title they will ever do. So it's gonna be a while till we hear something about Resident Evil 5, so be patient with that. Hopefully we'll get like a Revelations 3 with Rebecca. I have a video talking about it on my last video. You know, maybe we see Jill's return in Resident Evil 9, but that's also the video before the Revelations 3 video. So why do I think it's a bad reason? Not necessarily much of a bad reason, but for Resident Evil 5 itself, but I feel like other games are way more deserving of a remake than 5 currently. Now I get Code Veronica is not a number title, but you have to treat it as it's a number title, especially when it comes to the main storyline. This is basically the beginning of the downfall of Umbrella. You know, this story is as important as the grand scheme of things of the O timeline that it's super necessary to talk about, to remake, you know, to bring it to the front lines. But I totally understand why they're not mentioning anything about Code Veronica. It's because it's not a number title. But to me personally, I think it would sell like hotcakes if you were to say that you're making a Code Veronica remake. You know, you already have an established fan base from 7, 8 who moved on to 2 remake, 3 remake, 4 remake. Now, if you establish a Code Veronica remake, those same people will follow. I don't see the problem of that. Like, I get it's not a number title, but you know, people aren't gonna like stay away from it because it's not a number title. People aren't stupid. We're not gonna look at a spin-off title and say, oh yeah, well this isn't part of the canon universe. So I think it's necessary to bring that in the storyline. But do I personally want a 5 remake? Sure, if you can somehow rewrite it, make it a new like reimagining, maybe a different settings to avoid some crazy controversy, then that's completely fine. So far they've had a good track record with me, at least Dev 1 does. But to be honest, I enjoyed Resident Evil 3 Remake. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it could have been longer. I think, you know, some stuff should have been cut in the first place. But I'm still an enjoyer, you know, so I'm down for anything they do, whether it's a remake, a spin-off title, or Resident Evil 9 itself. But I'm pretty sure we are getting 9. But you know, definitely after the success of Resident Evil 4, they can tweak up some gameplay mechanics straight out of from Resident Evil 4 into Resident Evil 5 and just turn it up by like 20 or 100 with the action, because personally I love the action in 4 Remake. I personally love it. Now if they can somehow improve upon that, then that would be insane. I 100% for that. Some story stuff can be changed. You can change like a little something, and I'm going to talk about that in a future video of what I personally would change in the story. But alright guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do we get a Resident Evil 5? Do you think we should get another game? But I just want to say thank you so much for the 150 subscribers. I know it's not much to a lot of people, but to me that's a milestone, especially when I've been doing this for not even a month. Or it must have been like a little, like maybe a month to some change probably. I don't remember, but it was an extremely short time. I am by no means a pro at this, and I'm feeling so comfortable, which is a good thing. But thank you guys so much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about a Resident Evil 5 remake. But I want everyone to have an amazing day, and until the next time, peace.